Hello everybody, hope you're all well. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. I am back today with an update on the loft renovation. So today's video is going to be weeks 3 and 4 into the loft conversion, which I have been documenting. So in case you missed any videos and you're brand new here, then I will link those down in the description box. Essentially, I'm in the process of converting my loft and we're in weeks 3 and 4. Well, we're on week 4 now, basically. So I'm going to update you as to what's been going on for the past couple of weeks in today's video. So before we get into it, if you're new here, do click subscribe. I post new videos every single week. And if you enjoy this little loft update, quite a big update actually, lots has been happening, then do give this video a thumbs up. Okay, quick sip of the coffee, and then we'll get cracking. You may have noticed that my backdrops have been chopping and changing recently, and that is because I'm just trying to find corners of the home that aren't in chaos, because one of the main things that has been going on over the past couple of weeks, actually since the renovations have started, is that everywhere is quite chaotic, quite messy, and yeah, it's quite tricky finding places to film. It's also quite tricky filming throughout the day because it's been so noisy. So I'm filming this in the evening. It's chaos. Anyway, I'm digressing because you want to know how the loft is going, so I'll jump straight into it. So starting off on week 3, some progress started with putting the floors down. So all the beams started to go down for the flooring, which made the whole area just feel so much more stable and secure, and yeah, it's a really nice solid floor up there now, which I'm really pleased about. And then the other main thing that happened was the roof battens started to go into position. I think that's what they're called, or roof beams. The big pieces of wood essentially that are there to support the roof, I guess. So the ones on the sloping side were positioned, and they needed to leave the gaps that the windows will be going into. Now on the Friday, I was live on air on Channel 4 doing packed lunch, and I came off air to some missed calls, and that was because they were positioning the windows. What I had in mind was the windows actually to be quite close together and towards the right hand side of that slope to allow for storage on the left. That was my thinking anyway, and I think storage is so important in the loft space as well. And the architect had just put one storage cupboard in the eaves, nothing else. I mean, you've seen how many Christmas decorations we've got, right? That's not going to work. I came home, and then on the Saturday morning I was able to talk to the project manager face to face, go through it all. I actually took up a plastic crate that I use for storing things in as a rough guide to see how deep the storage cupboards would be, and then go from there. These are the sort of decisions that I think are really tricky, because you're having to make them and then you commit. Sometimes it is worth saying that you do need a little bit more time to make a decision and see if the team can be getting on with something else, because if you get it wrong, then it's going to be a hell of a lot more work to put it right. So yeah, we've got to try and get these things right along the way. Anyway, that was pretty much week 3, besides a few thunderstorms and the heaviest rain we've seen in a very long time. Everything seemed to be going pretty alright, which was good news after the previous week. And then over the weekend I started looking at some flooring options and also some options for the ensuite shower room. So I actually took a trip to IKEA and had a little look around there and saw some nice inspiration for bathroom sinks. They do really good priced sinks in IKEA. I've noticed the price point of the sink itself is around the £40 mark. Then they have cupboards underneath, or different storage options, or ways that you can kind of combine them with different pieces of storage, which is quite good for compact rooms. We've also been talking to the team about the positioning of everything in the ensuite. Now I know a lot of you say that you don't think it's a good idea to have the toilet facing the door, so you're probably not going to like the final positioning of everything. So I'm afraid to say the toilet will be facing the door, but I'm not bothered about that because the door will be closed. So I don't really see it as an issue. I've got an idea for the door, but basically it comes down to plumbing and also the position of the window in the bathroom. Now for me, the most important thing in that bathroom was to get the window as big as we can. That means that the window goes across pretty much the entire wall that you face when you go in through the door, which would leave the option to have either the toilet or the sink on that wall. Now in terms of plumbing, if you put the toilet on the right hand wall, that would then mean you're having pipes going around the room before you get to that outlet pipe. And personally, I would prefer to have the toilet right next to the wall so that everything in that toilet is going straight out of the wall. I know you can plumb things in so that they travel, so that the waste travels, but personally I'm not a fan of that. I don't like the idea of waste pipes travelling across a room. I prefer that they just go straight out straight down. So with that in mind, the toilet is going in the middle of the ensuite bathroom, facing the door, and that is that. So I know you'll be in the comments telling me that that's awful, but sorry, that is what's happening, and that is the explanation for it. So on the right hand side will be the sink, and on the left hand side will be the shower. And the benefit of having the shower on the left hand side is it means it can actually tuck slightly into the alcove, which is where the kind of original chimney was, and then the alcove is kind of next to it, so it will utilise the space better by pushing that shower into that corner. And then there should be a big enough gap in between the shower and then the back wall where the window is that would be able to fit a small storage unit or something like that. So that's where we are with the ensuite. Started to look at some sink options, as I say, and in terms of the shower, I've seen some really nice, simple, easy clean glass ones. They've got a really simple, almost like no frame, so the idea is in my head that it's kind of, it's not going to be noticeable. It's literally going to be like a glass door that swings open, simple as possible. And actually I went to have a look at some tiles today in a local tile shop, and I've been looking at what I would describe as quite large and quite neutral, almost like stony, they just disappear. That's the vibe. I don't want anything too out there. I want it to be really calm, slightly warm toned, I'm thinking, for the bathroom. I think that that will be nice for that space, but also very light. Also with the tiles, I'm thinking matte as well, rather than shiny, because the guy in the tile shop was explaining to me that if you go with matte, it will actually distribute the light better, whereas with shiny ones, they will reflect light, but then they will also create shadows, and so you will end up getting corners of the bathroom or the shower room that actually look slightly darker because of how the tiles are bouncing the light around. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've got similar tiles in your home and how you're getting on with them. Then as for the toilet, I haven't really given that much thought. It's going to be pretty standard, I think. I went to Carpet on Tottenham Court Road as well over the weekend to have a look at some of their luxury vinyl flooring tiles, which I think is the option we're going to go for the main space. So those are kind of like a vinyl wood effect tile, I guess you call them, but they actually are like planks. So they look, I guess, similar to like a laminate flooring. They are wood effects, they look quite realistic. You get them in all kinds of different colours, and the benefit of those is they're very thin, so they won't take up too much room in terms of taking away from head height. You can lay them directly onto a hard board, you can glue them down, or you can get the click ones that offer a little bit more insulation. I was having a look at all of those in the showroom, good to see them in the flesh, but their delivery times were 4 to 6 weeks, which seems really long to me, and I actually think that's probably going to be a bit too late. So I've been onto UK Flooring Direct again. In fact, let me show you, because I think you might be interested to see these. So if you're interested, the delivery on samples is free. You get up to 3 at a time, but you can reorder. So you can type in 3 different ones that you want to get samples of, press submit, and then you can go straight back on there, same address, same email address, and order another 3. I just think it's so they don't get huge orders maybe all at the same time, and they come really quickly. They come on a 48-hour turnaround. I think I got both sets of samples the following day, which is so handy, especially if you're doing a speedy project. So keep that in mind. Get a brochure, which is always handy to have a little flick through, and inside here they've got some really good pictures of the flooring, because I find often that on the website you might get a real close-up of a plank and you've got no idea how it's going to look in the room. So I like to get an idea of the scale of the boards and that sort of thing, so that's helpful. And then the samples they send to you are quite big as well. This is the Click, so it's called a Luxury Click Vinyl Flooring, and this one is Victoria Frost. Now it's hard to see on the website in terms of kind of tones and if they're greyish or warmish or where we're going with that, so it's really useful to get these ordered up. On the back it does give you all the dimensions as well, so you can kind of work out how those are going to look within the room and think about which direction you're going to lay the floorboards, all that kind of thing. But I'll just show you how they click together. So it is like, much like a laminate, and they just do that, and then you get a really nice, can you see, no gap, which is great for flooring of course, isn't it, because you don't want any gaps for dust or moisture to be getting into. And you can see how thin it is too, so that's not going to take up too much room from the head height. I think you do need a slight underlay with this that they recommend, but it shouldn't take up too much space, and that can go directly down onto the hardboard. So this is one of the options. Quite like it. I'm not sure if it's a bit on the grey side, but I do like how simple it is, and I feel like it would go with a lot of different colours if we felt like redecorating, and it should also go with just constantly like placing different objects onto the flooring to see if they work with warm tones, if they work with greens and that sort of thing. Those are probably like my most used colours in the interiors, but also see how it looks with grey. And really this one's not too offensive, is it? It's kind of somewhere in between. That's an option. This one is called Lugano Amaro. Maybe a bit too grey with this one. This one I thought was quite cool. This is a classic oak herringbone design. So this one would be laid like so. And I'm in two minds about that. I'm not sure if it's too busy for the loft space, but I do like it as well. And I do like the tone of that one too. So that's definitely an option. And then a couple more to show you. This is an example of one that you actually glue straight down onto the wood. So this one doesn't have the click, and this one you just put a layer of the glue down and you would glue that directly onto the floor. So this is really quick and easy to lay. This one is sea salt oak plank, and yeah, just a glue down one. Slightly more reasonable in terms of pricing, but yeah, I was impressed with all the prices on this website too. So yeah, nice quality, maybe a bit too grey, but in the loft, I don't know, this kind of snowy white, I feel like it'd be great in terms of bouncing light around. I'm going to be using the room for filming a lot, so decisions. It's giving me a headache, I don't know about you. It's very hard to make these decisions, isn't it? So moving on to week 4, and they've been busy building the structure of the dormer extension, which is brilliant. So you can really see now how the height is, you can see where the stairs are going to come up. And they've also added some brackets to the beam that is holding up one of the steels. I have to say, when I first saw that beam, it took me by surprise. I hadn't seen it on the architect's drawings, but essentially that is there in place because that side of the loft actually has the chimney, so that wouldn't be strong enough to hold the beam up that's supporting the roof. We've also had building control out this week, who've ticked off everything and are really happy with how things are looking. Water tank has also been removed. Some of you have been asking what that water tank is for. In all honesty, they really confuse me, and I still don't properly understand them, which is awful. I'll do some more research on that and let you know in a different video. I think they're quite an old-fashioned thing, and I know that we won't need one once the loft is done. So that's been cut away, and it leaves behind the pipe ready for the water to go into the ensuite. And that's pretty much where we're up to, coming to the end of week 4. Yesterday we had a bit of drama in that one of the wheelie bins outside the front of our property actually caught fire. I think somebody may have flicked a cigarette butt next to it, and there was some cardboard that caught fire, which resulted in the wheelie bin catching fire as well, which burnt through the neighbour's Wi-Fi cable, which is an absolute nightmare. So many people are working from home at the moment, but I've given them our Wi-Fi code for the time being while they get that sorted. But yeah, I'm just thankful that we were home and that we were able to catch it in good time. So that kind of takes us up to today. I haven't actually been up there yet. I thought I'd finish today's video by taking you up to, and we'll have a look how they've got on today. So this is how the roof garden is currently looking. A little bit dusty. And this is looking in from the dormer extension. So you can see here is where the bathroom window will be. Here you can see they've started to cut out where the stairs will be. I have to say, I'm not looking forward to the part where they're gonna smash out all of that ceiling. Below there is the hallway, so this is where the stairs will continue up and around, and then this will become a bit of a corridor with the door here. So this is it from the other side. So we'll come up the stairs, go round along a corridor, in through here. So then across here, roughly about there I would imagine, will be the wall to the ensuite with the door in the middle here. And then in front of that door we will have the toilet, don't shout at me, shower tucked into this alcove, and then we will have the sink unit on this wall here, and then the window is actually all of this here, so as you can see, nice and big. And so if you imagine you come in through the door here, you will have the door on the right here to the ensuite with the wall coming across here somewhere, and then this is full height, this section here. So we have this whole section full height, and then that is why I wanted to put the 2 windows slightly across to the right hand side, so that as you come into the room, that is what we see. And then over to the left of the windows, this area here, which will all be wall essentially, but also some of it will become storage. The bed eventually did go into this corner. I still think it's useful to have this part with wall if you had like a bedside table, for example, and then keep the windows further away from what would be like the end of the bed, so you'd still have the windows in kind of like the main area where you would walk around. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense and made the correct decision there. We can just hope. So the membrane has started to go on, and you can see here in a bit more detail the gaps for the windows, and then we just need to figure out in terms of storage how that will work. So whether we have like a cupboard under the windows, but same over in this corner, we have a window here, and then we have lots of space going into this alcove, so I'm really keen that they don't block up too much of that. But then this was the middle section that I was telling you about. So with the beam being there, I'm not sure if it's worth making that a small cupboard area or whether to just board that one over. We shall see. Maybe I'll get a quote and see how much it would cost to keep that open. But yeah, I'm really pleased with the space. If you look from back here, you can see how it's coming on. And if I balance you, and I don't know how well you can see, but the head height, if I put my hand right the way up, I'm just touching the ceiling. Is really quite good. I'm very impressed. I don't know if that's going to come down much when the insulation's on there, but hopefully it won't need to. So yeah, really pleased with that. So this was all really crumbly before, and they've added a really nice new line of bricks down there on the, I think you call it a parapet wall, do you? The one that divides our roof with the neighbours. And above us we still have the tin roof on, which has been keeping those storms away, and then they have all the way around the sides plastic sheeting as well that stops rain blowing in, so it has been perfect that they've been able to carry on with the works. So yeah, it worked out in the end. It's crazy to think that this was the light switch that I used to have to reach for to turn on the light up here. I was thinking the other day, it's going to be weird when it comes to Christmas time or any time I need to access the loft not to be putting the ladder up. I feel slightly nostalgic about that. I feel like having been here for 10 years, putting the ladder up and going up into the dusty old loft is kind of something I kind of weirdly enjoy about Christmas time. Obviously, I'm really looking forward to coming up the stairs to the loft when it's all done, don't get me wrong. But that was just a weird little thing. I had a little moment the other day where I thought, oh, it's going to be really strange, I'm not going to be able to put the ladder up and go up and get the Christmas decorations down, which, yeah, bonkers, I know. But anyway, we get attached to the strangest things, don't we? But of course, I'll be delighted when it's all done. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you, in case any of you can relate to that kind of weirdness. And maybe I'll have to have, instead of the loft hatch, a special place to keep all the Christmas decorations, so it still has that excitement when we get them all out. But anyway, that is the end of today's vlog, so I'm very happy with how things are going. We have nearly a roof. Thank you so much for all of your comments and all of your support. I hope you're enjoying following along to see how this is going, and if you have enjoyed this update, do give it a little thumbs up. Feel free to leave me any comments, any ideas, any tips and tricks, any thoughts on the flooring. I would love to know them. Have you seen any nice shower enclosures? I'm looking for a 90 by 90 centimetre. Have you seen any nice sinks? Where can I get a bargain toilet? All the questions. eBay's quite good, isn't it? I'm having a little look on there. But yeah, feel free to share any thoughts with me in the comments. I do read all of them. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.